What's up, audio nerds? Welcome to the Audio Hotline, the channel where I review audio gear for beginners, professionals, and everyone in between. Today we have a condenser microphone in the studio. It is known as the Behringer B-1. You can purchase this microphone on Amazon for $99.90. Today I am using the Zoom H5 to record the Behringer B-1, and the gain is set at about 48%. And as you can see, I am using a pop filter right now. This is the Stedman Pro pop filter. During the testing, I will be using the provided windscreen though. When you purchase the Behringer B-1, you get a really awesome heavy-duty carrying/storage case. You get a pretty standard shock mount, a windscreen to help out with some of those plosives, and of course, the microphone. When it comes to the build quality of this microphone, I don't have any complaints about it. It's a solid metal build. The grill feels good. There's a little bit of give, but not enough to be concerned at all. And just overall, it feels like it lasts a pretty damn long time. As far as the accessories that come with this, the windscreen actually is pretty good. It has a little bit of width to it, which is fantastic. The carrying case is incredible. Getting a carrying case like this with a $100 mic is outstanding. I love it. My least favorite product that comes with this setup is the shock mount. I just feel like it's a pretty cheaply made shock mount that probably won't last a super long time. Now that we've talked about the overview of this microphone, let's go ahead and nerd out and talk about the specs. The Behringer B-1 is a pressure gradient condenser microphone with a 1-inch single diaphragm. The B-1 has a cardioid polar pattern, a frequency range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, a max SPL of 138 decibels. This microphone comes with a switch that offers 3 options: flat mode, a low cut filter that drops off 6 decibels an octave at 75 Hz, as well as a 10 decibel pad. The max SPL of this microphone is 138 decibels, unless of course the negative 10 decibel pad is engaged, then the max SPL becomes 148 decibels. Has a signal to noise ratio of 81 dBA, and this microphone does require 48 volts of phantom power. Now that we've talked about the specs, let's go ahead and test this microphone out. If your significant other just isn't doing it for you anymore, and you decide to turn to your microphone and give it some lovin', here's how it's gonna sound. Maybe you want a third person to come and party with you in your microphone. Here's how it's gonna sound. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled penises. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled penises. It's a big windscreen. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled penises. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled penises. If you decide to type on your keyboard like a madman while you're talking into your condenser microphone, here's how it's gonna sound. If you talk into the microphone like this, it sounds like this. If you talk into the microphone like this, it sounds like this. And if you talk into the back of the microphone like this, it sounds like this. Here's how the microphone can sound with some post-processing on it, with some EQ, compression, de-essing, some stuff like that. And this is a good example of what you could potentially get out of this microphone if you're going to podcast or do voiceovers with it, or anything where you need some vocals processed. And if you want to improve your audio, but you don't want the microphone to be on screen when you're filming, this is how the microphone could sound about 3 feet away. However, I did bump up the gain on the Zoom H5 from about 48 to 53. Alright, now that we've gone through the overview, the specs, and the testing, let's go ahead and get to the review. Here on the Audio Hotline, I give a letter grade for each piece of gear that I review. That letter grade is contingent on 2 things: the price and the quality. So I will give a piece of gear an A+, if that quality just far outweighs the price, and I'll give a piece of gear an F if you should honestly just avoid it. Never come in contact with it. If you do, probably go get tested. So now I'm going to go ahead and take you through some pros and cons of the B-1. Let's start negative and then turn it around and test positive. One thing I will say is that without the pop filter or without the windscreen, it is really bad at plosives, but I can't really hate on that too much because truthfully, if you're going to use a condenser microphone like this, you need to be using one of them. It comes with one, and actually the only reason I'm not using this, I actually really like this, but I just don't want it to cover all of my face in this video. I showed a picture of the frequency graph earlier. I'm going to go ahead and put it up one more time real quick. This microphone looks insanely flat up until it hits that high end. It nearly hits a 10 decibel boost in that high frequency range, and you can definitely tell it's boosting the highs. And honestly, it's not the worst boost in the world, but it definitely is slightly harsh. As much as I really like some of the accessories that come with this microphone, I really don't like this shock mount. As I've been recording this, these elastics have been falling off into the middle like this several times because the metal ridge that they have right here isn't nearly steep enough to keep that elastic in place. Maybe it'd be worth throwing some gaff tape around those. I know that's weird and you shouldn't have to, but it's kind of brutal how often those have fallen off. Like, it's happened 3 times just in like the 25 minutes I've been recording this. I know this isn't a 25-minute video, okay? I cut a lot down. I take some breaks. I gotta take a coffee break sometimes. Don't judge me, Carol. Now that I've gone through a few of those cons, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the pros. I really do like the accessories that come with this microphone. I love the windscreen. I think the microphone is built really well, and I absolutely love the case. These are all great accessories, just not the shock mount. So these are all pros, but con, yeah. One pro is that $100 price tag for a condenser microphone is a really reasonable deal, but we'll have to get into that later, whether it is worth the price or not. Even though I did complain about the high frequencies being boosted, the other thing I will say is that the rest of it is insanely flat. And actually the response of this microphone sounds really good. And when you get a little bit closer like this, it doesn't overwhelm the bass too much, which is nice. Alright, now that we've gone through some pros and some cons, let's go ahead and get to my letter grade. I give the Behringer B-1 a letter grade of a B+. I think that this microphone does a really solid job, and I think it is worth the $100 price tag, especially for the accessories that come with it. If those accessories didn't come with it, I don't think I would be giving it a B+ right now. I think the microphone itself isn't worth $100. I do think everything that comes with it is, though. A lot of the time, I feel like the microphone is worth the price, and then the accessories are just a nice little, sprinkles on top. But for this one, all of it combined, to me, is worth $100. Thanks for watching this review of the Behringer B-1. I hope that you found it informative. I hope it helped you out. But most of all, I hope you had fun, dude. Stay tuned for a lot more reviews and some awesome giveaways that are coming up. If you have any questions about this microphone or have any suggestions for other microphones that you want me to review, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below and I will definitely get to it. Thanks for watching the Audio Hotline. I'll see you next time, nerds.